Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Well, thank you for joining me here today. I hope you've all had a wonderful week so far. And just to invite you all, if you feel inclined to do so, if you have any show topics that you would like me to discuss and research and look into, then you can contact me by going to emailing me at glennboddice@live.co.uk, or you can also find me on www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com and contact me there. It would be wonderful to get some interactions with you all, and even if you have any paranormal or spiritual or personal development stories that you would like to share with everybody, maybe you're not feeling the vibe to come on to the show, but you wouldn't mind me reading it out, your encounter. If that is the case, then it'd be wonderful to hear from you, because the intention with the show is to help empower everybody with personal circumstances, also share and validate their experience both in the spiritual world and also observing the paranormal world. So if you have any of those stories, it'd be absolutely incredible to hear from you. So what have we got lined up for you today? Well, today's show topic is called divine timing. So we're going to be exploring that in a moment. Also later on in the show, there will be a direct channeling from Spirit, using me as a vessel to come forward and bring forward their wisdom that they wish to share with you this week. Also, later on in the show, we have your weekly energy forecast reading, which will give you your heads up in what to expect and what's going to unfold for you this week. So stay tuned. You're in for a treat this week. Okay, so without further ado, let's start today's topic, which is divine timing. And first of all, the obvious question is, well, what is divine timing? And I'm sure we've all encountered this in some area of our life. Okay, so divine timing is, there's a place and there's a time for everything. And these things are coming in onto your divine path, your life path. And so there is an agenda, if you like, an agreement that you made before you came down here on the earth plane, that you wanted to achieve these certain goals within your life and learn these certain lessons. And they're dotted around in various points on your life path. However, you are required to have a degree of patience as well, and an understanding when you experience these. So that's what divine timing is as well. And it's also not forcing things, but knowing, having an internal knowing that these things are meant. Okay. So let's explore it a little further. So with your life, there is a natural flow, isn't there? And things come and go, lessons are learnt. And with that in mind, there is, like I say, a natural flow, and you get a sense, you get a feeling when something new is coming into your life, when something old is leaving your life. And with that in mind, it's good to understand the principles of divine timing. Now, one of these principles that I've learned over the years is the fact that when we embrace these moments, we are actually a teacher and a student all in the same moment. And so is everybody, for that matter. So everything happens for a reason. And one of those reasons I've learned is the fact that we're here on the earth plane to learn, to grow, to expand our consciousness and our awareness in order to take that experience, that expansion back into the universe in order for it to grow, learn, and expand. And then that way it's ever evolving, isn't it? So we've made these choices before we came here that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our contribution to the greater good and for all to expand. Okay. So with this in mind, with being a teacher and a student all in that same moment, there is a great degree of responsibility. And that responsibility is just observing, being patient, and understanding the method or the methods behind the madness. Whatever it is you're going through in your life, it will have a divine purpose and a reason for it. And behind it, there is always the energy of love that catapults you through it in order for you to expand and add your contribution, shall we say, to the universe to enable it to expand, as we've just mentioned there. So in any moment in your life, it is up to you to just pause, take a breath, observe. Don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to react. Just take in the vibration, take in the energy, and assess. And you assess it by feeling, going into your heart. How does that feel? What have I learnt from that situation? How have I contributed into other people learning for that situation? And so when we start and see things from this perspective, we become more at peace and in harmony with ourselves. The fact that we understand the method in the madness, in the chaos that we've experienced, and we understand that there is a greater energy behind it running the show, if you like. And we've, again, touching upon it, we've made that agreement before we came here to go through these experiences. Now, when you do accept that for what it is, you notice that your life starts to flow in a much more relaxed state of being. You start to feel empowered. You feel that healing coming into your energetic and physical body as a result of accepting these things. Now, it takes a lot of practice, and at first, many will fall at the first hurdle, so to speak, because we've all been programmed at some period of our physical life, from being small right up until whatever age you're at the moment, that we have to react, and we have to go up against the energy. Well, in actual fact, that has a negative vibration to it, and in actual fact, that will pull your frequency down, and it will slow your progress down on your path. You will still get to the destinations, however, you will have a rocky ride, so to speak, if you were to go down that pre-programmed way of thinking. So, how do you navigate your way through that pre-programmed way of thinking? Well, the first thing is just to be observational about yourself and just own that you're acting that way, that you're acting out of habitual habits. Maybe it's from a subconscious level. And when you become more aware of that, then the penny will drop and you'll find yourself pausing in mid-conversations where you're just about to react, or you're just about to stake your claim, so to speak, whatever terminology you wish to use, but you'll find yourself just relaxing a little bit more and easing into that flow state, that ease and grace as well. You will also find yourself reviewing your moments in your life. And what I mean by this is, when we review our moments in our life, it's almost like a film playing out in our mind, isn't it? We're going through our experiences, the situations, the people, the places that we've been. And when we see these things from a different perspective, with the view in mind that we are a teacher and a student all at the same time, we begin to embrace the lessons that are there for us. So you may want to feel inclined to do this for yourself, and it's something that I would encourage anybody to do. Just simply, you could do this whilst you're waiting at the traffic lights in the car there for the lights to change. You could do this while you're relaxing in the bath or wherever, as long as you're paying attention, obviously, to whatever it is you're doing, but you're just allowing these thoughts to meander through your consciousness. And when you do that, like I say, and you have that knowing in your mind, well, what did I learn? What did I teach people in that experience? What did I learn from that experience? And you tap into that energy that's always been there, but because we've had this subconscious programming running in the background, it stopped us from seeing those blessings, and also stopped us from seeing that, well, everything's going to be fine. Actually, everything's going to be fine. We're all in alignment. We're all expanding. We're all contributing to the universe's growth. Now, to some, that might sound a little bit out there and a little bit hippie of me to suggest these things, but in actual fact, once you embrace that, you'll notice that your life will change for the better, and there will be a synchronization with all the aspects in your life, and you'll start to witness that showing up. Another thing that you need to embrace is that you are, wherever it is, wherever you are, in the perfect place, in the perfect time in your life, right now, in this now moment. And when you understand that, and like I say, appreciate that there's something to teach and there's something to learn. And with that investment in both of those things, you're helping not only yourself to move with ease and grace on your life path, but you're helping others to do the same. Just allow that energy to flow through you. Show a level of gratitude and respect by simply giving some time in your mind to reconsider the way that you're looking and reacting and behaving in your life. And you'll find that everything will have a new meaning for you. Doorways will open up for you, and opportunities will come your way as a result of you changing the way that you are thinking and moving in your life. Also, letting go is one of the, I would say for most people, one of the hardest lessons to learn. But in fact, it is an essential part of following divine timing. Because when we let go, we're letting go of our old belief systems. We're letting go of old energy. We're not condoning that energy or experiences at all. We're simply saying, well, thank you for getting me to this point in my now moments. I appreciate the lessons. I appreciate it gave me the opportunity to become a teacher and a student all at the same time. But now I let that go in love and light, and I embrace new challenges and possibilities that are coming in. So in order for us to keep on our pathway, we have to be mindful of when things are running their course, and we just have to allow those things to naturally move away. Now, to some of you, this may be a little bit concerning, and it's not without any issues. You have to just see the blessing in the situation. That's what I'm referring to. You know, don't hold on to that reactive energy. It doesn't necessarily serve you or anybody else or the situation that you're in. Simply go with that flow state. So what I'd like to share with you is a bit of an example where I can say that divine timing played a very strong part in my evolution as a person. Okay, so I'm going to go right back to when I was younger there. In fact, when I was at school. And throughout the school, I always tried my best. I was very enthusiastic. However, I was very shy at school. I was the sort of person that would sit at the back and would observe and wouldn't necessarily put their hand up and put themselves forward. And so I was that sort of person. However, I loved to interact with the work that was given. And this carried on throughout my schooling, right up until the secondary school or high school, if you're in America or Australia. So I always had that enthusiasm to learn and grow and expand, and I always tried my best. However, I was always pulled down, and I was always being told, you need to do that again. That's not right. That's not good enough. You need to do. Have you been listening? That's not correct. Have you been paying attention? So I was up against that, and everything that I did, it seemed like everybody else did it, and they did it the first time, whether this was homework, whether this was a project or whatever it was at school. And yet I had to do it again and again and again. And as you can imagine, growing up, this was very frustrating, particularly when your peers, if you like, in your class, they're just doing it and with ease and grace. And I thought I was doing the same. However, I was having to do things again and again, like I say. Well, this carried on. I left school, I went to college, and the same thing would happen there as well. I was trying my best. I've always been one of these people that don't like, there's people out there that like to take the easy route in life, and they like to cut corners in order for them to get ahead quicker than everybody else. Now, this is not any disrespect to those people that do that. If that is their calling, then that is fine by me. However, my calling was that everything had to be done right, traditionally, and it just had to be done properly. No cutting corners to win the race, and that's just the way I am, sort of thing. And again, it's no judgment on anybody else that thinks any otherwise. But however, the reason why I bring this up, as I say, I was at college. And again, I went to college. I did screen printing, sign writing, graphic design. I did stained glass. What else to do? I did numerous amounts of different elements within this course, which was training me up to be a sign writer and a screen printer, and also using graphic design as well. So I absolutely loved the course, and I put everything into it. I really did. And I was loving every moment of it, going every day. However, I was faced up against the same old thing. Can you do that again, please, Glenn? And everybody else in class were, they was just doing it. Some of them were cutting corners, which again, that's up to them if that's their vibe, but it wasn't mine. And so I was having to redo projects, redo exams and everything like that. And it was so frustrating. And people just observed me, and they thought that I was lazy and I wasn't paying attention. But the reality of it was, I was doing my best, and it was so frustrating to communicate that. Well, this led on to me moving into employment, where I started one of my jobs as a screen printer. And again, it's what I trained up to do, and I absolutely loved it. And I brought all the what I've learned at college into the role as well. And again, I like to do things correctly as well. So I brought those things into the role. However, what I did find whilst I was in the job is we had to fill out timesheets and production sheets on a daily basis, as you would expect in that kind of environment. So upon doing that, I would fill these forms in, and I'd put the allotted amount and what I'd produced and the times at which I'd done them in, because it was on, back then, I think it was on piece rates. So if you did it so many above the time that you're allocated, you were paid a little bit more for your efforts. So I used to do that, fill all that in. Now, I know it's taken me a while to get to the point, but my point being is divine timing played its role in all of these circumstances that I'm describing, because I noticed that when I was filling in these timesheets and production sheets, I'd be writing it down and I would be putting words back to front down on the paper. At the time, it looked perfectly normal, and I'd go back at the end of the day ready to hand them in, and I'd look down and I'd think, what? That doesn't make sense. And I'd put the time, say it's 10 past 8, I would put 10 and then a number 8 as well. And there was a pattern emerging with most of these timesheets and production sheets. And in fact, it was quizzed by head office as well. So it bemused me, because I know I'd done the work, and I know when I was writing it down, I'd filled it in correctly. However, when I looked back and reviewed it, it all didn't make sense. Well, anyway, I later discovered that there was an issue there. I spoke about this to my parents, and they sent me to be tested for being dyslexic. Because one of their friends was a teacher, and he also did the tests there. So I had these tests, official tests. And upon doing them, I was told at the end that, yes, you are dyslexic. In fact, yeah, you're very dyslexic. And so from my perspective, that was a huge sigh of relief, because it validated my experience of trying my best, of listening hard, and doing my best in all of these situations. However, that would explain why people were sailing through, and I was having to do it time and time again, because with dyslexia, for me personally, it's the fact that most people read a sentence and that's it. They read it, it's straight in, they know what they're doing. For me, I have to read it once, and then I make sense of the shapes of the letter into words. The second time round, when I read it, I'm reading it. I'm getting the information. So should I say, I'm reading it. The third time, when I read something, I'm ingesting the information. I'm understanding it. So whereas somebody would read something once, I have to read it 3 times. And over the years, I've managed to cope with this, and you do find your own coping mechanisms in order to navigate your way around being dyslexic. Also, one of the traits that I do display is having a really bad short-term memory. So if somebody was to say, oh, they gave me somebody's name or they gave me some facts, and then they asked me 2 minutes later, I wouldn't be able to tell them what they've just told me. It's at that level. And so you can imagine, you can see how that this caused all that pattern that I've described to you there, with me growing up and going through school and college and starting the production work there in screen printing. And so it all started to make perfect sense. So the way that I combated the short-term memory thing is I always take notes. If I had a pen and paper, I would write notes as people were speaking. Nowadays, of course, we've got technology to our side, so we have the option of either recording it as a voice message, or we have the option of typing it up and just putting it in the notes in the electronic device. So that has helped me tremendously throughout my life. And again, you find a coping strategy to combat your dyslexia. So yeah, why I mention this as an example, divine timing played its role for me, because if it hadn't been for me going through all of that and then arriving at that destination of finding out I was dyslexic, I wouldn't be, I would say, in a position now where I'm more aware of it, where I've learnt to work with dyslexia rather than fight against it and have that anger and frustration with having to do things over and over and again. I understand why it happens now. Simply the fact that my brain is slightly wired differently to everybody else's. But for most of people that have dyslexia, the plus side of this is that you become more analytical. You're more observant. You feel things more. You allow energy and information to flow through you more, like inspiration, ideas, but you have to write it down quickly, or you have to record it quickly because you forget. And also the fact that for me anyway, before I read a word, like I said earlier, I see the shapes, but I also pick up a feeling with that word or that letter, an energy behind it. So I'm feeling that. So as you can imagine, with going through that, every time you read something, you get a feeling, you see the shapes, you read it out, it doesn't sink in, and you've got to read it again to retain that information. And sometimes you've got to read it again because you've forgotten what you've read. So it's helped me in many areas of my life, being dyslexic. And so it just gives you an alternative view on the world, and it allows you to experience it at a different vibration. You notice things more, you feel things more, and you're more observant. So I see that as a blessing, and divine timing with me finding that out at, I believe I was 18 when I found that out. So I'd gone through all that. It was meant for me to know that at that time. Since then, despite being dyslexic, I'm a published author. I also channel books through as well. Obviously, with the readings that I do, I'm a music producer, as you're aware, and I do all these things. And actually, I was a sign writer and screen printer, and obviously that involves lettering, spelling. It involves detailed information as well. So despite being dyslexic, I found my way around it in order to get the job done, in order to do the best I could. And again, it just saw me inspecting things, reviewing it, analysing it, checking that it was right. And if you imagine doing Welsh road signs, look at the spelling on that. That was a nightmare. But I did it one step at a time, and I just embraced it. So it's played an integral role in my life. And any of you that have dyslexia or know that people that have dyslexia, just, cut them a little bit of slack. They are doing their best, and they're trying to navigate through their life with this unique way of thinking. So just learn to embrace that. That's what makes them unique. That's what gives them their alternate viewpoint on the world. So to summarize, divine timing, we all experience it within our life, whatever age we're at. And my advice to you is just not to react, not to follow subconscious programming where this is concerned. Take 5 seconds to breathe, hold your breath, pause a little minute, and then embrace the wisdom. See that you are a teacher and a student all in that same moment, and you will be amazed at what and how your life will expand and grow for the better, not just for you, but everybody else that's involved and even the situations. Well, now we're moving on to the next section of the show, which is channeling. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the communicator that's going to come through me as a vessel.
Hello there. It's wonderful to come through today and talk to you on some quite important matters we certainly feel at this moment for you all. In particular, you will all be noticing there's a lot of changes happening around you in your, shall we say, pockets of your life. You'll notice that there's people that were once there are now not there anymore, and there was things that you enjoyed doing that you don't enjoy doing anymore, and it will seem to you like things are going topsy-turvy with you all. However, we want to let you know about the beauty in this situation, because amongst all of this, all these fractals and fragments of your life has got to be broken up, you see, in order for something beautiful to be created from it. So don't see all these situations you're going through in your life as a bad thing. In fact, it's the complete opposite. We would like to term this as a rebirth for you all. And a rebirth it shall be. You will notice every aspect of your life changing. You'll feel a sense of freedom, pride, and you'll just feel more expansive as an individual. Now that's quite a big word, obviously, expansive, but what we mean by that is the fact that you will feel like there's no resistance where there once was. And when we use the term resistance, we're simply referring to the feeling of feeling caged in and restricted, and that flow of energy not flowing quite as well as what it should be. So, you will notice amongst all of this chaos that's going on throughout your life, in these changes, and it's only just starting to come to the surface, you will feel that joy creeping in, that sense of expansion, and knowing that things are going to get better from this moment onwards. There will be occasions where the element of doubt creeps into your mind, but you will be quickly you will be encouraged to feel that bliss within your heart and let it shine and rise to the surface. It will be a physical and energetic experience. When you do feel this, you'll just feel that sense of peace and joy and a knowingness like nothing you've ever experienced in your entire lives. It's a great feeling. It's hard for me to put into words into such a format that you will understand. You have to go through it, you see. You have to feel it. You have to engage in with it. So in these times that we're speaking of, which is in your now moments, right now for you, as you're listening to this transition, we urge you to assess the elements in your life that aren't necessarily allowing you to flow and expand into your natural state of awareness. We don't want you to overthink these things. We simply want you to feel these things, and that will give you your answer. If you overthink it, then the ego mind will kick in, and it will put you in a sense of fear and again restriction. So, feel your way through this massive change that is happening to all of you. Now, I don't care how old you are, how big, how clever you think you are. It's all happening now. If you choose to be aware of it and to honour and observe what's going on, then this will be a seamless transition for you. However, if you choose to overthink it, overanalyze it, and put yourself in that, why me? Why is this happening to me? I don't like this. Oh, it's happening again. We say it will take you a long period of time to move and evolve into these new energies. So do yourself a favour, give it up, let it go, and embrace what is truly you really are. And you'll notice you'll fly. You'll fly. We're not talking about in the clouds, but we're talking about, you'll fly through it with grace, with ease. And so, yes, that's what we're talking about today. We want to make you aware of some of the changes you may feel in your physical sense, in your body. You may feel a few aches and pains as you go through this situation. We're not talking about life-threatening or anything medical. However, it will feel that way, but it's what we will term as ascension symptoms. There's little bits of aches, lightheadedness, feeling a little bit of nausea from time to time, and a little bit of soreness behind the backs of your eyelids, your back of your eyeballs there. You'll notice all of this. And also the fact that your ears keep popping. Imagine when you go in a plane and your ears pop, and then you be reacclimatised when you come back down to earth, and they'll pop again. Well, you'll be going through a lot of that. Again, it's just your physical body adjusting to the energy. So there's nothing to be alarmed about. Just know that that's what's happening, okay? Also, you'll notice that most of you enjoy some food, don't you? You love your grub. You love to eat. You love trying different things, and we applaud you for that. You know, after all, variety is the spice of life. However, you will notice that food isn't it doesn't play as much of an important role in your psychology like it used to. Like you used to think, oh, I feel like eating that. Well, now you won't. You'll just go about your business, doing your things, and then you'll just think, well, actually, I do feel like I should eat something now. It's almost that. You see the difference? I should eat something because your body and your energetic body needs it in order to keep going. Whereas before, it was, I fancy a bit of that. I quite like a bit of that cake. That looks tasty. Do you see where we're coming from? So you're going to get what you need rather than what you're greedy. You know, what you're craving for. You're going to get what you need. And your body will tell you when that is the case. So just listen. Step outside the old ways of thinking. Like we say, the old ways of thinking is like, I like that bit of cake. I like that fizzy pop. I'm going to have some of that now. Well, your body's not saying that. There's part of your psychology saying that. You know, and the ingredients in these foods, it's almost as if it's like some kind of addiction to them. And so it's that craving that's saying that you need that. When in actual fact, your body's not wanting it. So there's a shift. There's a difference. You're going to start eating food and drinking drinks that your body needs, that your body must have, rather than feeding these addictions with the elements in these foods. Now, there's a big shift there for you, and you're all going to experience that. Now, what we also want you to know at the moment, you're all being bombarded by the energy of fear. Now, you can see this wherever you turn, whether it's in, shall we say, media, whether it's in the monetary system, the way the power structure, the hierarchy, who controls who can go where, who can talk to where. It's going on all around you. So everybody that's listening to this, you will be aware of it. Even if you don't give it your full time and attention, you will be aware of it. Okay, what we're suggesting merely to you is, yes, there's nothing wrong with being aware, but don't let it take hold of your energy. Don't let it live rent-free in your psychology and in your energetic mind. Instead, you want to turf that fella out. You want to say, no thank you, not today. Not engaging in any of that activity, no thank you. And you see, you'll know it's not right because it will make you feel restricted. Remember I was talking about it earlier, about the feeling of restriction and feeling small and there's no flow to things. Well, with these energies that we're talking about, you'll feel that restriction, that sense of not being free and expansive. So when something feels like that, what are you going to do about it? You're going to let it control you? You're going to let it make you feel that way? Or you're going to tune into your bliss? You're going to say, no, not today, thank you. I'm going to expand. I'm going to keep my beautiful energy expanding and growing. Because after all, I'm part of the whole creation and expansion upon the universe. And so I'm going to allow that expansion to continue to grow for the greater good and betterment of the entire universe. You see that shift in consciousness that shifting, that choice. After all, it is a choice, and you have free will in every moment. We're not telling you to do this, you must understand. We respect the laws of free will. We're merely making you aware of it, making you aware of the choices that you have. Because most of you will operate, shall we say, from your subconscious mind without necessarily thinking, without seeing the options in front of you. You just react because that's what you've always done. So with this little, shall we say, piece of information we're giving to you today, we're merely showing you what's on offer before you make your choices, before you make your decisions on what energy and where you're going to put your time, where you're going to put your flow, and who and what you're going to let in to your beautiful time and energy. Because after all, that is your greatest asset whilst you're down here, your time and your energy. So just be a bit more responsible for that and choose wisely. Like we say, rather than making knee-jerk reactional decisions, see what choices are available. And when you've seen what choices are available, and this applies to every single aspect and facet in your life, and what you do and who you hang with, once you realise all these choices are on the table, then go and feel the energy around that choice. And we're talking about not with your hands, not with your physical body, with your energetic body. Feel it. Does it make you feel restricted and small and worried and concerned? Or does it make you feel joy in your heart, expansion, excitement, freedom? Obviously, I know which one I prefer out of those two choices, but basically, when you narrow it down, the choices that you have fall into one or the other category. So let's break it down even more for you. You've either coming from the perspective of love, which is expansion, growth, freedom, or you're coming from the perspective of fear, which is restricted, which is closing off, which is not trusting, feeling tense, feeling small. So when you break it down into all of that, you can then make an informed choice. But again, it is up to you. We all vibrate differently. We're all here to serve the greater good and the great expansion of the universe. And even it's hard for some of you to comprehend that some of the lower bass frequencies that we're trying to allude to describe to you actually do serve the greater good in one small way, because it's giving you the option to make a choice, you see, to expand. And without that, shall we say, lower bass frequency being there, you wouldn't have an option. Do you see where we're coming from? So it does serve, in many ways, it serves you to expand and grow. So even if there's situations, people, or environments in your life that do feel a little bit, shall we say, lower energy, lower frequency, then don't give it any more lower energy. Just simply observe it for what it is. It's there as a stepping stone, and it's there to encourage you to make an informed choice. And without that stepping stone being there, like we say, you wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo. You wouldn't have a clue, would you? You wouldn't have a clue that there was a choice there to be had. So when you view life a little bit from that perspective, you can see that everything is in fact a lesson and a choice. So we ask you to choose wisely and choose from your soul, not from the conscious mind, not from the subconscious mind, but from your soul. And that resides from your heart. And you can communicate with that with true pure feelings, just by allowing those feelings. Most of you squash those feelings and hide them down. Again, because there's an element of fear of being judged for having feelings in that way. But some of you embrace those feelings and let them come to the foreground, and you take ownership of them and you follow that energy. So the choice is yours. We're merely showing you what's available, and we're merely giving you and point you in the right direction in order for you to make your own conscious decisions from the heart, from the soul. And you'll be absolutely pleased when you do that. It will take your life in a whole new level of being. You will start and take your power back. You'll start and realise that you've been able to manifest things into form, to follow your bliss, follow your soul. You've been able to do that all along. And now it's almost as if you've been given the keys to unlock the door and open the door and walk through. But the choice is ultimately yours. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, whatever it is you're currently doing in your busy lives, to listen to this broadcast. And we hope that you find some nuggets of information that does ring true and line up with your soul. And we hope that that information ignites that flame of passion and freedom and knowledge once more in your heart and your soul, and that you use it wisely in order to expand and grow the collective consciousness and awareness, which in turn causes an expansion all around the universe. So we thank you. We send our love, send our blessings to all of you. And we want you to know that you're never alone. Even if you're there set in your physical and you think, well, it's only me in here. No, that's never the case. You're never alone. Each and every one of you has a team of unseen helpers and guides, inspiring you, keeping you on the straight and narrow, and giving you that love and encouragement and upliftment that you need in order to take you through to your next moment. Obviously, you've got to make those informed decisions based upon the choices like we've spoken about earlier. But know this, you're never alone. And so if you're feeling at a low ebb, you're wanting a little bit of company, well, you've got to ask for it, haven't you? So you put some intentions out, and you notice when you ask for it, you notice a change in your environment. Notice a difference. Feel that energy of love. Feel that energy of compassion and those ideas and inspirations coming into your mind. Once you ask for it, you will be truly amazed. Like we said earlier, you've had the power and the tools to do this all along, but you've forgotten. So now's the time for you to remember and use them. Take care, good people. We look forward to talking to you in the near future. It's been an honour and a privilege to do this. Take care now. God bless.
Well, next we move on to the next segment of the show, which is your weekly energy forecast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the inspiration coming through. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and I'm here to do your weekly energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 11th of July 2022. Now, those of you that have watched me do this before will know that I connect with my spirit team and helpers, and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the cards and allow a card to come out at random for your weekly energy forecast reading, and one has just done that. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading, and I'm now going to link into the vibration of that and bring forward that information for your week ahead. straight away, I feel as though this week is going to be a very explorative week where it's going to see you having to learn to be more open to receiving the bounty that wants to come to you. Now, when I say bounty, I'm talking about opportunities. I'm talking about well wishes, even compliments coming your way. It's going to come in many different forms for you all this week. So rather than being a little bit shy about it and saying, oh no, you're all right, you need to learn to accept. You have given it so openly and freely to others and with such generosity whilst you've done that. Now is the time for you to be open and acceptant to receive it back. Okay. Also, this week we'll see your vibrations changing. You're going to be more sensitive, but on a positive nature. Your intuition is going to be really sharp. So what my guides are saying for you to do is to pay attention to it. You may be given some inspiration to help you with your life, or indeed an idea that's going to change your life. Now, with this being said, what you need to do is when that inspiration strikes, write it down, take notes in your phone, on your electronic device, whatever you can, and then go back to it when you have more time to do so. This way, you won't be missing out on that beautiful inspiration that's going to help not only you in your life, but it's for the greater good. It's going to help a lot of people. So pay attention this week and have that courage to put it into action, put your energy into it as well. Also, I feel this week for you all, you're all going to become increasingly sensitive to the foods that you're eating. And so with this in mind, I feel as though that some of you will be spending a little bit more time on the toilet. And this is not because you're physically ill or anything like that. It's a case of your body is going to be rejecting those. I feel as though it's more processed foods. It's not going to be holding on to that frequency. So your body's naturally going to want to move it out. So just be aware of what you eat if you want to avoid spending a lot of time on the toilet, okay? Also, I feel as though there's some happy moments coming in for you all this week. I'm seeing you bring forward that childlike sense of humor and fun and that sense of adventure, and you're just going to let that flow through you. I am feeling more of an ease on my throat chakra as I mentioned that. So I feel there's the old version of you that's going to want to stop you from saying something because you feel it's a little bit childish, or no, I need to act my age. My guides are saying, no, express yourself. This energy wants to be expressed. It's about having fun. It's about letting others feel that sense of fun and freedom and laughter. It's going to be very empowering for them and yourself, and it's going to heighten the vibrations of you all. So just allow that to come through. So I'm going to turn over the card for you. So at the top of this card, it reads 4 of Earth. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 4, as there will be additional information in that for you. Earth to me represents you keeping your feet firmly on the ground, and also it represents being more mindful of your surroundings, because you will have a tendency this week to go off in a little dream world or a daydream, which is fine and which is acceptable. And my guides say we celebrate the daydream because that gets you closer to the world of spirit when you're in that daydream. However, you will have your daily duties to carry out, so make sure you have that balance sorted. At the bottom of the card, it reads frugalness, extravagance, control. So with this in mind, I feel as though it's telling you to just be mindful of your resources. Now, this could be anything from your energy, your time, or it may be your finances as well. So just be mindful that you're getting that balance right. And then that way you can turn up, you can show up in the best version of yourself as well. Control, to me, that would represent you stop controlling yourself. Because like I said earlier, we all have a tendency to edit our words or edit our behavior because we think that because we're a certain age, we shouldn't be acting or behaving that way because it's not the done thing. Well, this card is telling you to remove that sense of self-control and allow you that beautiful energy to filter through you as it will uplift your energies and also the energies of others, and it will inspire them to do the same. So looking around the card, we've got the color of green there, and it's going into a lime green. To me, green represents your heart chakra. So follow your heart this week. It represents growth. So rather than controlling yourself, holding yourself back, accept the blessings that are coming in. That will accelerate your growth, and you'll have a more balanced lifestyle once you start doing that. It's also telling you not to dilute your energies this week. So again, remove that element of control away from yourself. Stop editing your words, stop editing your behavior, and just be the true version of yourself. People are after that now, and people can spot somebody who isn't authentic a mile off now, as these energies have changed. So just be aware of that. Looking into the artwork, we have this beautiful feminine energy there, and she's sat patiently on a treasure chest, isn't she, as well? So let's take a look at the symbology of that. Basically, the feminine energy is talking about your sensitive side. We mentioned about you being more receptive to information coming in for you, but you've got to retain that information, record it, write it down when you can. Sitting on a box of treasure as well, she's sitting patiently. It's telling you to wait patiently, because the bounty and the treasures that you've been working so hard at over the years are coming to you. And all in good time, the box of treasures will open. Don't force or rush these things to happen. Now, behind her there's a door, double door, and it's padlocked, and it's got the number of 44. So I'd urge you to research the angel number 44, as that will give you additional meanings, and also add the 2 digits together. So 4 and 4 is 8. So research that as well, number 8. And with the doors being locked there, I feel as though that's telling you that it's not time for your new pathway to open up. However, it is drawing very, very close. I'm also being told that you have the key to open those doors at any one given moment. But you have to have that patience. You have to have a greater understanding of yourself and stop controlling yourself. That seems to be the buzzword of this week's energy forecast. So stop having that need to control yourself, and instead celebrate who you are and expand and grow in that version of yourself. And these doors will open up for you when you have done that. So just celebrate yourself and the successes that you have. There's a picture in the background. We can just see the edging of the frame. To me, that represents you reframing your life. Stop holding yourself accountable for everything and making yourself a prisoner. Reframe your experiences, see the blessings in disguise in them, and look how they've helped you expand your consciousness, your awareness, and the growth and the lessons that you've learned from doing that. So see the positive elements in any one situation. This will help you and empower you to see that key that you need to open the doors in order to propel you forward on your life there. So that's what I'm picking up for you for this week's energy forecast reading. I do hope the information resonates with you on a deep level and helps you throughout the course of this week. Now, if you've enjoyed this reading and you are interested in receiving a one-to-one private reading with myself, you can do that by contacting me on my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com. Or indeed, if you are interested in hearing my radio show, which is From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, you can find that on pulsetalkradio.com every Monday at 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. And it's all about spiritual, self-help and paranormal content. So I look forward to your company there. So in the meantime, have a blessed week. Take care, everyone. God bless.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in this week. I do hope the information has given you some inspiration in some way, shape or form. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, you can contact me at glennboddice@live.co.uk or go over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, and I'll be happy to answer all of your questions and consider your suggestions. In the meantime, everybody, I wish you the best of weeks ahead. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and
services Glenn provides. Go to Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium